Hey Leo, welcome to your January 2026 reading. Um, let's just dive right in. If you want to meet your spirit guide or master the law of attraction, I put together a free meditation as well as a free mini course. Links up there to get those sent straight to your inbox. Okay, so get into your read. That looks like the theme of this month. Oh, I'm gonna cry for you guys. Your theme for the month is like, how do you let go of a soulmate? That is so sad. It's like, how do you let go of a soulmate? And it looks like this person was really impactful for you in like a positive way. They helped you mature a lot. Um, so it's like, how do you let go of that? And then like, isn't that kind of like the dream, right? That you meet someone and you grow together. And you're like, oh, but just because I've outgrown them, like, who am I to like leave them behind, leave them in the dust? They were so patient and kind with me while they were teaching me, and now I'm just gonna leave them. Like, but the difference is when they were teaching you, you were learning. Right now, you're trying to like teach them and they're not learning. They're like either blocking no or like fighting back, not wanting you to change, you know? And God, like it's the energy of your partner that's coming through, Leo. This is fascinating. Y'all are gonna have to leave me comments in this section area because this is pretty specific. It's like the person is trying to tell you, like, I like teaching people that stuff. It makes me feel good when they respond. And like, it's like that person is like going through the validation lesson. Like when they say something and someone responds, they feel loved. But like, now you're like, but why don't you, now you're perfect, but not like perfect. You've outgrown what they could teach you. And that's like the biggest struggle point in there because that person feels loved when they're teaching someone something and they take the action to do it. But you're already like, there's no more this person can teach you. So, number one, like you have no more growth there and you're a person who likes growth. But number two, like that's the biggest reason why that person's upset. Um, because like they don't feel loved, and so it's almost as if they're like nitpicking and like trying to find things wrong, um, instead of like think back to when it was earlier in the relationship. It was actually like, oh man, that was a good point. I am the asshole, you know. Like I'm sorry, babe. That's when they felt loved. But right now, it's more like a nitpicking, critiquing, and it's almost as if they're trying to like push you back down into that inferior position because they kind of liked that, oh, I'm the mature one, I'm the one teaching you, I'm the one leading. It's like they felt safer when they were the one who like knew more. And I'm talking about like emotionally being blunt. I'm not seeing anything about money in this. I'm not seeing anything about intellect. The only thing that's coming about like intellect is that like you're a tiny bit smarter, not necessarily smarter, a little bit more perceptive than the other person. But in the beginning, they just knew more about like life than you. But now that you've like caught up with what they know and you're more perceptive, they're having a bitter pill swallowing like, why is this person smarter than me? Why is this person more perceptive than me? And that's kind of like making them shut down a little bit. Like if you'll notice, like a good third of your fights are when you have a good valid point from your perception. And they're just like, they're shutting down. You're taking it as a, oh, I didn't explain it right. Oh, I should have waited till she was in a better mood to tell her. No, this person's like shutting down because it's like, oh shit, I don't feel safe anymore. I'm not the smarter one. So like this person's safety issue has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them like being maybe it's older, maybe it's more mature. Well, I guess not age. They just like being ahead of people. They like that teaching role. And it's kind of hard for you to accept that they don't want to grow, shift, and change. Because you're like, they were so patient with me. I want to be patient with them. But again, like, and this is what the spirit guides are saying. The difference is when they were teaching you, you were learning. Whether you were combative and maybe like a little bratty about it, you were still learning and eager and hunger for that growth. Whereas this person doesn't want to change. They want you to like feel inferior. Like that's the best word I could put to it. Like they want you back to looking up to them for the guidance, for them to feel like safe. It's like this person can't help but want to lead the relationship, even though Like, you're the leader, but they can't help but want to try to lead it. And their words are saying they want to relax, but that's not what they want, though. Words and actions are different. The words and actions are different. And like, I don't know, man. Good luck with that, Leo. Write me any questions, comments you have. And I go live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern time with fresh, free mini reads. So if you want more help, come hang out with me on YouTube. Because the person's words and their actions aren't matching. And like what I'm hearing from the spirit guides, they're just saying like if the person was being truthful, you would at least see a little bit of effort, a little bit of, okay, this is really, really scary, but I'm like effing trying here. Like, you better be nice and kind to me. And then they like, if they get scared and run away, then you like the action is at least there, you know? And they're saying very loudly, there's someone else in your life right now that you've kind of seen rapidly grow up, pushing themselves past a comfort level. And like, that person was put in your life for a reason so that you could see the person who wants to grow versus the person who doesn't. And there's something about words and actions with the other person are much more aligned. Yeah, that whoever this person is, they were put in your life so that you like had a, not a side-by-side comparison, but like when someone put in an effort and they want to, even though like you can tell that person's like not as good as you. God, I guess, Leo, you're just a shining star right now. They're not as good at you at whatever it is they're trying to get better and growing in, but you're kind of, for them, you're seeing like rapid improvement. Like, that person was put there for you. Because this person, whoever this new person is, like, they wanted that growth anyway. So being in your energy is like making it easier for them. So it's more like the person who wants the growth, whether they say they want it or not, you'll see the actions. And yeah, everything is just like, their actions aren't matching their words. But it also looks like another reason why it's like a little hard for you to let go of this relationship is that there was a lot of passion in the beginning. And it's kind of like you really want that romantic story. And there was a book I read, I think it was called We by Robert A. Johnson. I'm a little psychology book nerd. And in there, he talks about the difference between a love story versus a life story. And so, and especially when people are like 27 and under, they really want that love story. We overcame all odds. Love stories are like Tristan and Isolde, Romeo and Juliet, that passion, that desire, that pining, that, oh my God, we met, we felt a spark, but our families are keeping us apart. I can't stop thinking about them. Okay, but there's a difference between love, which is the biggest indicator of love, is like you find yourself thinking about them all the time, versus obsession, versus the psychology term limerence. You can look that up. There's a difference between like when you're thinking about them all the time because it's love, it's, oh my God, that was so sweet that they like brought me breakfast in bed. Oh, they picked up my son from daycare for me. Oh my God, my baby's just so good to me, right? Versus limerence is, oh, they were just so hot and sexy in the beginning. How do we bring that passion back? Oh, just like they're always on my mind. They're just, you see the difference between the two? One is about like your interactions with the person versus I'm just obsessed with them. And so in that book, like the love story is that Romeo and Juliet, and those always lead in tragedy. Those are always about that pining, that I'm singing to the moons for the person. Whereas a love story is that person that you're able to integrate with on the day-to-day level and have that smooth, safe, relaxed feeling in your body. Family life, whether you have kids or not, but you have a good we like to do this. This is our routine. It's you integrate on the day to day. You know how to like share space with the person. Being able to like split the chores is seamless and smoothless. One ends in tragedy. One ends in a life story. And so it kind of looks like there's just like, but there was so much passion there. And if we could just overcome this, we'll have that great story of she stood by my side in the beginning and I stood by her side. Okay, I don't know, man. Love stories end in tragedy, man. Yeah, Jesus. Oh, come on, just look at how confused that is. So it's like on the day-to-day level, how that's playing out. You're literally just like utterly confused. How do I let go of this person who positively impacted me so well? How do I, like, from your point of view, like, I'm turning my back on them. I'm not showing them enough of me, showing them enough of my effort for them to feel safe. But like, I'm trying to think of a good analogy to give you guys. I mean, I think enough was said in the beginning. Like, that person likes being the teacher because it gives them security. It gives them the sense of superiority. I'm safe. But now that you're the one that's like ahead of them, definitely emotionally, a little bit mentally, a little bit intellectually, they just like they don't feel safe. So that's not something that you can do or prove, you know? Okay, in terms of what's happened in the recent past, whoa, that's interesting. You met a soulmate in your recent past. What the fuck? You got a crazy life right now, Leo. Jesus. Wow. So whoever this soulmate is, it definitely got you like you're not thinking about the future with that person, but that person, it made you go, oh shit, I see a life story. You know, I was talking about love story, life story. You're like, oh my God, I could see being with this person. Oh my God, I could see not necessarily a future with that particular person, but that person where you were like, oh shit, I could have the family life that I want, or like I could have what I want. And you like saw that future vision. God, yeah, give us some more of this good stuff. Oh, the person is a little bit on the spiritual side of things. You got the Mystic card. Yeah, I want to give you some like good shit after. You would be a good partner with that person. I'm gonna give you some good stuff after all that. Oh my God, it's so. You poor thing, Leo. You know what I'm going to say to you? I'm going to say to you what the advice of my first therapist and mentor told me. I didn't take her advice, but I now in hindsight see how it was the most magical gift she could have given me that at the time I didn't listen to. And I was stuck on this guy, God, for like 7 years of my life. Total not worth it. And she's like, "What?" I was like, "But if he starts sleeping more, he'll be in a better mood. But if he reads this book on happiness, but if I learn to, like, when the best time to communicate with him, then we could get along." And she just said, "Well, the person who he is today, is that who you'd want to marry and have a family with?" And I'd be like, "No." And she'd like sit there and go, "Okay, that's your answer." And I'd go, "No, but what about this? What if I try this? What if he's always been asking for this. What if I try that, even though I don't want to?" And she'd go, "Well, all I can say, Kelly, is you have, a new person in front of you that's unknown, but so far has been good. You have this old person that you already know what that old person's like, and you don't like it." And I just kept going back to it. So I feel for you, Leo. I feel for you. All I can say is, all right, give us something bad about the new person. It's not bad. Okay, whatever. In your recent past, you met a soulmate. It got you thinking about the future. They're spiritual. There's a good partnership, and you're also what Spirit was hoping you would see is that partnership is so much easier when the other person wants it with words and with action. Like the other person wants it. There's a lot of magic surrounded by a partnership with the two of you, which means like it's just gonna feel like that magic carpet ride. As spiritual people like to call it the synchronistic flow. You're just like, I didn't know that about him, and that's great. Oh, she likes that. I love that too. And like when I asked for what's the bad spirit, like, come on now, they pulled the swan, which means that you think this person's like really, really like pretty physically, but also like beautiful. Like you're like, that person's just beautiful. And it seems like they're very love, kind, and caring. Okay, so in the right now, what's going on for you? Well, Leo, you're struggling with your decision to like move on and to leave. It's like you've already made the decision, but you can't accept it. Yeah, that's weird. Like you've made the decision. You're like, this person's not right for me. I'm moving on. It's not even I need to move on. It's like I'm moving on. You just haven't emotionally accepted it. And if you guys want to, like, you could obviously come to my live and I'll help you out. But if you guys want, if you want, like, Google the 7 stages of grief, in there you'll see like shock, denial, bargaining. You're stuck between bargaining and acceptance. Acceptance is just like fuck, it's over. There's nothing I could do. And there's like a tiny part of you that's like, if I can't make this work, then that means I'm not a good leader. And if I can't make it work with this person, then I'll never be able to make it work with anyone. It's almost as if I think this person may have checked your resume. And that's what the person for 7 years that I chased. It was like, no, they have everything that I want. Okay. On resume, on paper, not on the emotional connection, not on the emotional capability, not on the good community, the actual, how did we have a life story together? How did we blend together? It was like that, no, in my mind, this is everything I want in a partner. But then when I got that in front of me, I couldn't just accept like, oh, I don't want that. So like, that's kind of where you're at right now. You just like, you can't accept that it's over. Man, you're really kind of digging your heels and like, no, I have to learn how to be happy on my own. Because if I can't be happy on my own, how can I expect anyone else to make me happy? I've got to learn to be happy on my own. I've just got to find my path, and then it will work out between the two of us. Oh man, but that's what's like causing the turbulence in your life, man. And like, if you're thinking you're having like mental issues, or like, oh, I'm just anxiety, mentally out of balance, it's because like you're trying to force the issue. No, it's all on me to fix this relationship. But that's why they put that other person in your life, so that you could see what it looks like when both people want it, when both people are putting effort in. And more importantly, when the other person wants it. Because being blunt, this other person's energy, whoever you're dating with right now, ooh, they don't actually want to be in a relationship right now. They just don't want to be alone. So they'd be fine with that relationship where you guys like 2 or 3 times a week, maybe call, maybe text, maybe hang out like once a week. Or like that person, if you're hanging out more than that, they like push you away. Like, no, I'm just not that touchy. No, you need to love me. I'm not touchy. You need to be happy on your own. When like that person is like, they flat out don't want to be in a relationship. They just don't want to be alone. And they also have like a limiting belief, or like a thought that love is disappointing. And so, God, that's another thing too. My mentor, she told me that, and I ignored her at the time. So knowing that I'm on the other side and knowing that what the great advice it was, I'm going to share it with you. You're probably going to ignore it like I did. But it was, if this person has a love is disappointing view of the world, and you're like, come on, let's go do fun things. Let's go to rivers. Let's go to waterfalls. Like, let's go to the beach. Let's plan vacations. Let's plan for the future. No, I don't want to plan for that stuff because whatever reason, like, golden retrievers should be with golden retrievers. Boxers should be with boxers. I don't know, man. Good luck, Leo. It looks like your personal power this month. Dude, Spirit's just being fucking brutal to you, Leo. Jesus, I'm so sorry. It's like, learn your damn lesson. Okay, so karma versus life purpose. Let's talk about that really quick. Your life purpose is what you've like learned in previous lives so that it's easy for you this lifetime. So for me, my life purpose is to be a light worker, a spiritual teacher. But for me in this lifetime, like once I would touch a spiritual book, I would like get all the downloads from it immediately and be like, oh, of course that makes sense. Of course that makes sense. That's because in previous lives, I did the whole like no marriage, go study at a Buddhist temple and meditate my whole life. And I developed all those skills. So this lifetime, that stuff came back to me naturally. So it's your life purpose to share what you already know to people who this lifetime, it's their karma. Your karma is what you came down to learn this lifetime. And so just want to cry for you guys. Part of your karma is when to put energy, when to put effort in versus when not to. It's also about like how to be a source of encouragement, support for someone, a source of solid safety for them as they're going through healing and growing without being the one responsible for their healing and growing. Oh gosh, wow. Whew. You shouldn't be the only one bringing the spice to a relationship. Like this, I don't say sexy vibes. How should I? The only one bringing, there's a little bit of a sexual flair to this for sure. Like that's in there, but it's also like the entertainment, the source of like happiness, the source of positivity. Um, yeah, and there's also like, well, this is that part of their karma? Yeah. Okay, yeah, it is. Um, if the person doesn't help you feel secure about your future, they're not the one for you. And it's almost, like previous generations, like in America, if you were going from the East Coast to the West Coast back in like the gold rush ages, your future itself wasn't secure. So you just like have a little bit of that old energy because 7 generations of energy like sticks within you. Or like, I don't know, maybe if you were like immigrants, let's just say Mexico to the US, and they had to cross the border, that journey itself had a lot of insecurity in it. Okay. So you're like, oh, the future isn't known though. Why am I putting my sense of safety and security on them? But there's a difference between your sense of future isn't like secure because the journey, right? Versus, no, I know I want to cross the border. I want to cross it with you. Let's go together and both put in our valiant effort. We both want to get to the West Coast. One of us might die. We might die. We're unsure about that, but I know that I want to get there and I want to be there with you. So I hope that like makes enough sense for you because like your personal lessons month is essentially your karma, which is accepting like when things are over, so you don't like waste your resources. And one thing I'll also share with you guys, this is turning into a really long reading, in my course, Becoming Who You Really Are, one of the modules is all about like, why do some people come in and out of your life and some last? Because, when people do have like CPTSD or any sort of like trauma, childhood abuse, there's a rapid growing phase and people can come in and out of your life. And one of the things can be like but how do I get one of them to stick around? Why did I just have to learn this lesson with the person and they're out of there? So in the module, it talks about like the 3 kind of types of people, relationships that come into your life. There's the lifetime, there's the season, there's the reason. And they're all important, they're all significant. The reason is that person who like comes in like a wrecking ball. It's so bad, it's so tumultuous, and it needs to be that bad because it ultimately teaches you self-love, self-respect, self-trust. And so it needs to be bad because if it's good, oh yeah, let's go to the left, babe. They go to the left. Let's eat those strawberries. If life is just good, you're going to be like, it's fine. When it's bad though, like, man, they're treating me so horribly, or they just won't let me lead. It needs to get like bad so that you go, oh shit, like this, it's now beyond repairing with this person. I need to love myself more. That was personally mine. I was like, oh my God, this person's treating me so horribly. It's now getting to a point where it's not a matter of do they love me, do they not, do they need sleep or do they not. This is a matter of do I love myself or not. If I love myself, I would not bring myself back here. So it could be self-love, it could be self-respect, meaning relationships like, so the person who you have to like swallow your pride or give up some of your dignity for a little bit for them to feel good. Those people are sadistic. They should partner with their compatible masochistic people. If you're not masochist, then don't be with a sadistic person. So you're like, wait, that person's always going to ask for a little bit more. Because at first it's like, okay, fine, I don't want to do that, but they want that. Okay. Then the next time it's like a little bit more. And then it gets to a point where you're like, wait, I'm sacrificing a little bit of my like self-respect here and like my dignity. And they go, but please, whatever they do, they need you to do it in order to feel loved. It gets to a point where you're like, oh my God, I need to respect myself. It doesn't matter how much I love you. And guys, love alone is not enough for a relationship to work. You need love, you need compatibility, you need good communication. Both people have to be willing to be working towards the same goal. Because if you're not working towards the same goal, that's not a life partner. That's a situationship with the label of commitment on it. So the reasons are there. Or like, let me give you an example for the self-trust one. There was one guy I knew, he was like, yeah, man, I don't know. It's just every time like I did the planning, we always got there on time. We always had a good time. We always had everything we needed. But then every once in a while she'd be like, no, we don't have to leave until this time. And I would just listen to her. By the time we got to the airport, I pretty much had to drop her off at the front so that she could catch the flight. I then had to go park the car, rebook myself another ticket. I spent $1,000. And so he had to learn I need to trust myself. The other person might throw a little hissy fit if they're not being listened to or included in the plan. But like, I'm the one who every time when I plan it, we get there on time. When that person plans it, we don't get there on time. I need to trust myself. So the reasons teach us self-love, self-respect, self-trust. The seasons are the people. Think of like a kid going away 2 months to summer camp. You guys know it's only like a 2-month little friendship, but it's just fun. It's bubbly. There's lots of growth. There's lots of expansion. That growth and expansion tends to be like being a more loving person, how to like open up, feel safer being vulnerable, right? So you need these reasons and these seasons so that you can have the life partner. Season, reason, life. And the life is the person that you integrate with on the day-to-day level, that it's that life story that I told you about earlier. And the difference is with those two, the seasons, the reasons, you go through rapid growth, rapid expansion, that ultimately help you love more. The life person, it tends to be the person where you have that happy, harmonious family home life with. You don't necessarily get a lot of your growth from the person. You get it from that person being your stable rock so that you can then go read a book, take a course, and then you come back and be like, oh my God, babe, I see a totally different way to live life. Can I tell you? Yeah, tell me. Blah, 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 blah. Whoa, that's so cool that you got that expansion. Like, okay, let's try it that way. See, that's not a season, like oh my God, take my hand, trust me. Let me be the one to show you that you could trust someone. It's like, they're your stable rock so that you can go and expand outside of the relationship. The relationship is the stable rock for your mental sanity, your emotional safety, your physical intimacy needs. It's like 90% of your needs are met here so that you then feel safe to go explore in the outside world and get your expansion from the outside world, and then you bring that back to benefit your family. All right, that was for my Becoming Who You Really Are course. If you guys want that, you just go to my website. That course will be there. You could buy it, do it yourself, or you could buy it in a mastermind live call with me. Come hang out. Okay, so let's finish your reading. This is a really long one, Leo. In terms of, this is personal power, in terms of outside influences, well, I don't know what to say about this one. Honestly, okay, what are you trying to say to Leo? Well, there's like 3 different messages coming through. There's someone in your life that's not giving you good advice. That whoever's telling you, just try harder, just try harder, just try harder. Don't give up, man. You've invested so much time into it. The only analogy I can think to give you is like, you can Google this, the study on gamblers when they would put the quarter in. Like, statistics is just a mathematical law, right? It's a rule, it's a law, it's like physics. If you drop something, it will drop. Every time you put that quarter in, the odds are the same every single time. I don't know what the numbers are, for example's sake. Every time you put it in, you have a 90% chance of losing that quarter and a 10% chance of winning. What happens with gamblers, every time they put a quarter in, they think it goes from 10% to 11% to 12% to 13 to 14 to 15 to 25 to 35. And once they get past that 50, they're like, no, man, I'm in. This is eventually going to pay out. So whoever it is that's giving you that advice is like, sorry, man. Sorry, I don't like being the bearer of bad news. You've got your intuition speaking to you, though, which is like, admit to yourself, I feel like I'm standing on the outside looking in my relationship. I'm like, I want what this person's saying, but I'm like looking in on it, and you're living in the fantasy in your head, but like the reality of the relationship is not what you want. Your intuition is trying to tell you that, like, quit living in the story that the other person's telling, and actually, like, how do you actually feel in the enjoyment of the relationship you're actually in right now? Is there anything else for that? Yeah, and it's almost like for you, why it's hard is because it'd have to be you think it's admitting that I'm not good enough if you can't make them see the light and the different way to be in the relationship. Okay, in terms of your hopes or fears, that's interesting. You got the it's over card. Okay, so relationship's over, but oh, and it looks like it's because like it's over. And it's mainly over because they're not letting you lead. They're not letting you step up to like play the role that you want to play in the relationship. And there's so much fighting and bickering and tension. Um, God, this reads so long already. It's almost over though, so I'll tell you a little bit more. If you read the book Attached, it's a psychology book that's really about attachment theory. And there's anxious, who those are the people who want to be calling all the time. They need that reassurance. Then there's the avoidants, who they tend to avoid connection. But then there's like the healthy people who like they have that perfect good balance. And then there's the fearful avoidance, our disorganized attachment, which they go from anxious to avoidant back and forth. Um, and in that book, it talks about a lot of people who had some sort of trauma. They either develop anxious or avoidant. They avoid love or they just constantly seek reassurance. And what can happen is when they're in a relationship, it's not actual love they feel, it's an activated nervous system, fight or flight, parasympathetic versus sympathetic. When you're in fight or flight, your emotions get activated, you feel things. And so what's going on is this person and you are activating each other's fight or flight nervous system. So you're like, we feel all this stuff though. This is what love is, feeling all this stuff. And so the book talks about that it's actually like just an activated nervous system, but not actual love. When you can get into rest and restore in your nervous system, love is like, it feels like that sigh of relief at home. Love, the definition of love is to choose to focus on someone with positive intent. How can I make your day better today, babe? I know you like that, so I did it. That kind of love, when you're used to that chaos, can feel boring at first. But after you slip into a regulated nervous system, then you're like, oh my God, I got the best babe in the world. And every morning we wake up and look at the sunset and I get to enjoy her beautiful face when the sun comes up drinking tea. In the beginning, that's going to feel boring to you. Like, okay, we're sitting tea because you want that fight, that passion, that drama. In time, though, I'll tell you, my relationships are so much better now. Okay, and all I can tell you is your outcome for this month is once you let that relationship go, you have a beautiful start to a brand new relationship. And it's going to be the happy, content home life that you want. All right, Leos, good luck. I told you all the ways you can get help. The show is 11 a.m. Eastern Time Friday, Monday through Friday. The link in the corner up here if you want to meet your spirit guides or learn the law of attraction. And if you'd like a personal reading, I'll put a link to that in the comments. But good luck. I'll see you around. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.